Gohan wastes no time, finally summoning Shenron and releasing the seal on the Dragon Balls that have been inactive for 3 years as Goku's positive energy fights back against the negative. However, recently, Dende noticed that the seal was weakening as Goku's vitality began to reach its limit, giving them only days now to interfere before it became fatal for Goku. Several hours later, we're taken back to the planet of the Kais right before the Z-Fighters reconvene on Earth. Elder Kai tells Gohan and the others that before they summon the evil dragons, he'll just tell them the strategy they'll be using in the next battle. The Earth has already been rattled during the battles with Eyes and Marble now. We mustn't place any further burden on Earth. The fight against the evil dragons is predicted to be even more extreme, many times more extreme in that fact. And so, I think we should set the stage of battle on planets other than Earth. So Gohan asks how exactly they're supposed to move next with that in mind. This is when Kibito Kai tells them that he'll transport them to their specific battle locations with instant transmission, telling Gohan that he should be able to manage alright. He says that he'll determine the order and decide on each respective movement from here on out. I'll be relying on the dragon radar, he says. As soon as I find an evil dragon, I'll transport it to each of the planets where each of you will be located. Basically, you're all going to be fighting them one-on-one. So the only question left next is, where do they stage these battles? The first stage will be the Dark Demon Realm, which we're already relatively familiar with thanks to other Dragon Ball media. Next, Planet Zuni that resembles the surface of a moon to an extent. Planet Kashin is next that looks like some sort of geometrical dimension. Planet Mujin, and finally, here, on the sacred world of the Kais. You'll fight at each of these 5 above places, Kibito Kai tells him. Every one of these planets is more durable than the Earth right now. Gohan wonders why only 5 places when there's supposed to be 7 evil dragons, right? So Elder Kai tells him that he and Vegeta actually are gonna have to fight 2 dragons since they have Super Saiyan 5 now. After recovering each Dragon Ball, for a certain time, you'll move on to aid the others, Kibito Kai says. When the evil dragons revive, they'll probably scatter all around the Earth. There might be a slight miscalculation when I transport the evil dragons to the planet where everyone will be, so please keep that in mind, he tells everyone. Now that they're all set, that's the strategy. And everyone has been briefed now. All that's left to do is to pray for everyone's victory. And with everyone set to go, their training finally completed. This takes us back to the present day where the seal has been broken and the evil energy from the Dragon Balls has been released. Welcome to Chapter 7 of Dragon Ball AF, guys, and I've been seeing that you all have been increasingly enjoying each and every chapter that we do. I have a lot of stuff to do over the holidays, and I'll probably come back and make a pretty big announcement soon. So if this is my last video for a few days, don't worry, I will be back and we will finish this story and keep grinding out other games like Squadra and Sparking Zero as updates come along. But without further ado, let's hop right back into Chapter 7 of Dragon Ball AF. With the seal on the Dragon Balls being undone and a new, much darker looking version of Shenron appearing, the Z-Fighters all take a collective gulp as they're in it now. There's no turning back, but hopefully they've acted soon enough to also save Goku. Dark Shenron awakens and the first thing he does is spit something out of his mouth. On the ground of the lookout, we see that it's actually the body of Goku that he spit out, to the shock of everyone as Gohan rushes over to check and see if he's still alive or not. Thankfully, he is still breathing. He's just unconscious and, funny enough, still in his kid form even after all this time. The dragon admits that Goku was indeed a thorn in their side, and finally they've been released from him as well. And as for the rest of you vermin, he goes on, this time it won't be like the last. We'll show you hell. Realize the terror of our powered up state. Now we'll go as wild as much as we please, the dragon announces, as he then splits into 7 separate entities and spreads all over the Earth. For now, they focus on Goku, who is still breathing, but his ki has been greatly weakened. Kibito Kai confirms this, but it's not that surprising, seeing as how he's been continually showered in negative energy over the past 3 years. For the time being, they'll let Goku rest in a safe place, but it's time for everyone else to get ready for their plan. Now, it's time to start transporting everyone to their specific locations. Goten is taken to planet Zuni, Trunks stays on the planet of the Kais, Gohan to planet Kashin, Vegeta to the Dark Demon Realm, and Oob to planet Mujin. Everyone, please do your best, Kibito Kai says as he takes Guru and the Dragon Radar and goes and searches for the first dragon. The first one is actually pretty close in a nearby city as the townspeople have already encountered it. A grotesque looking shadow dragon, host of the 5-star Dragon Ball, is in the middle of the city prepared to finally let loose and cause as much destruction as possible. Fortunately, Kibito Kai appears, grabs him by the shoulder, and teleports him to planet Zuni where his opponent awaits. Now for most of these places, we don't really know much about them, but the Shadow Dragon states that his body feels oddly heavy here, so it's obvious that the gravity of this planet is much different than Earth's. So you're my opponent, Goten says as he appears behind the dragon, and he doesn't plan on letting this guy escape and have his way. I really wanted to make humans suffer, the dragon tells Goten, who's angry that he's been taken away from Earth. Goten asks him which wish this dragon was born from, which is another aspect of the Shadow Dragons that's pretty interesting, so it'll be cool to see which wishes made all of these guys. The 5-star dragon tells him that he was born from the wish to resurrect the people who were killed by Cell. Goten actually wasn't alive at this point in time, so he'd only ever heard the stories of the battle with Cell from everyone else. But with that, the chit chat is over, and these two get straight to their battle. Back with the Elder Kai, he can sense that the encounters have begun as he watches over the unconscious Goku. I hope all goes well, but Goku, you did well by yourself up until this point. For now, rest your body at ease. This time, it's Gohan and the others that are undergoing a trial. When everyone overcomes the trial, true peace will arrive for the first time. There's no longer anything we can do but pray. Goten and the 5-star dragon begin their battle, with Goten showing off just how much he's improved over the past few days of not only training with Trunks and Oob, but also the battle against Marble as well. These two are pretty balanced in their strength from the time that we've seen them engage so far, as they go back and forth in a close quarters brawl. Wu Shenron leaps into the air, disengaging from Goten, but Goten takes aim and fires a Super Kamehameha at the dragon, who seems vulnerable in the air. The dragon, unsurprisingly, slaps Goten's attack away, deflecting the Kamehameha across the planet, showing off that there may be a more significant gap between their strength than meets the eye as he lands back on the ground. Goten charges at him a second time and once again shows off how advanced his close quarters combat had gotten, as he easily maneuvers around the dragon, who loses the advantage again in a hurry, but grabs Goten by the leg after catching a kick and tosses him into the air. He fires his first attack up at Goten, who rebounds and tries to deflect it away, but it looks like that may have been an attack that he took head on. Even the dragon assumes that Goten fell victim to that one attack, as the smoke clears and it looks like nothing is left of him. However, this is when he notices something. Goten appears behind him again, as they're in the same positions they were 30 seconds ago when he first appeared on this planet. Goten saying that was a close call. If I had been a bit slower firing off a counterattack, that would have been a direct hit. Wu, actually impressed, apologizes for underestimating him. This definitely is not the same Goten from a week ago. Training in the Room of Spirit and Time was definitely the correct choice. Coincidentally, the gravity in there was 10 times higher, just like this planet, so this is nothing to him. Fortunately, on the other hand, it doesn't seem like his opponent is used to this gravity yet. But all of a sudden, Wu Shenron says that that's enough of a warm-up. Time for them to get serious. He starts raising his power, much to the surprise of Goten, who figured there was probably more to this guy, but he's definitely not backing down now. He also agrees that it's time to get serious, as the dragon realizes that he underestimated Goten more than he originally thought, with Goten transforming into a Super Saiyan 2. Now, the battle can really begin, as these two, although probably still holding back some level of power, are at the very least engaging more serious now. Down in the Dark Demon Realm, Vegeta is meditating as he waits for his opponent to be delivered to him and crush them with his new Super Saiyan 5 strength. This is when a fish demon emerges from a swamp behind him, threatening to eat him. Vegeta, rightfully so, however, is only determined to fight someone worth his time, so he gives the fish demon the chance to get out of there and spare his life. Unfortunately, this arrogant demon decides to get turned into Dice Tuna today as Vegeta easily destroys this low-level creature. I guess this is just a little bit of filler between the battle. An extremely gruesome way to go, but I mean, hey, Vegeta did kind of give him a chance, right? Back at the battle between Goten and Wu Shenron, these two are absolutely going at it as this clash has become even more vicious than before. The dragon picks up the pace and leaps behind Goten, finally landing a punch and sending Goten flying across the battlefield and crashing into the ground below. However, it's going to take a lot more than that to end this version of Goten. He leaps back into the air and powers up again as he gets ready to fire another attack at the dragon. Goten starts preparing another Super Kamehameha, this time much stronger than the last, in order to get some type of leverage over the Shadow Dragon if he can overpower him. Instead of trying to deflect it though, Wu Shenron gets ready to clash it with his own attack. As Goten fires his attack, the Shadow Dragon fires a pretty massive flame ball at him, the both of them firing off a ridiculous amount of energy at each other. When the two attacks collide, a massive power struggle begins. I mean, just look at the size difference between these two attacks. However, Goten's training and being a Super Saiyan 2 is allowing him to really hold his own here, no matter how strong this new Shadow Dragon is. He refuses to lose here, fighting tooth and nail to overpower this opponent, channeling not only his brother Gohan, but his father here as well, refusing to disappoint them as Goten gives it everything he has. As these two forces pour an outrageous amount of power, a massive explosion erupts from the collision. The smoke and debris settle to display that these two, Goten and Wu Shenron, are dead even. No one could overwhelm the other, even with their strongest attacks clashing. Goten knew this would be a formidable foe, but after all of this training, he's surprised that he's having such a hard time with him. But his determination won't let him give up and let the others down. The Shadow Dragon seems to still be having quite an awkward time with the gravity on this planet, his body not quite moving as intended, as he wonders just what the hell this place is and why he was brought here. Goten states that yes, the Dragon Balls have been a great help to them many times in the past, but now, just this once, they have to make do with their own power. Because there's someone they want to save. No, someone they have to save. So he swears he won't lose this, or to any dragon, no matter if it kills him. For Pan, for their entire family, and for the Earth. Goten channels his father to please give him the strength to wager everything he has on this fist. Goten roars towards his opponent with the hope of everything, all of his power infused into this one attack, as he attacks with a Dragon Fist explosion identical to his father's technique. The power and speed Gohan charges forward with pierces the dragon straight through the abdomen and rips through its torso. The dragon tries to tense his body and minimize the damage, but Goten's Dragon Fist rips clean through this opponent with everything he has, leaving Wu stunned as Goten literally flies clean through his torso, leaving a gaping hole in the dragon's body. He can't believe it. One severe underestimation after the next. This one costing the dragon his very life though, as his body explodes from the lasting force of Goten's attack. And that would officially be the first new Shadow Dragon down. It took everything he had, but by following his father's example, Goten was able to not only win without the help of Trunks or Gohan, but he's done his part in recovering the first Dragon Ball. The 5-star Dragon Ball, no longer cracked and releasing negative energy, has been purified, and is only the first of 7, as each of these new Shadow Dragons will bring their own uniqueness to the Z Fighters. Back on Earth, Kibito Kai is close to finding the next Dragon Ball, as the Dragon Radar takes him far to the west of the city he had just left, as he tries to hurry to keep the damage these dragons can cause to Earth at a minimum. His job being just as important as everyone else's, because he has to find these dragons as fast as possible. But they're determined to prove to themselves that they can protect the Earth without having to solely rely on Goku, as he's done more than enough for 3 years straight now. Now, it's their turn while he rests. Since the previous evil dragon's negative energy was being directed towards Earth, disasters had been occurring all over the planet. But this time, the negative energy is being directed towards Goku, so he isn't likely to wake up until all of the Dragon Balls have been purified. In other words, for Goku to wake up, they need to defeat all 7 shadow dragons without him. Goku's vitality is already nearing its limit, Kibito Kai thinks to himself. We have to purify the negative energy as soon as possible or Goku will be in grave danger. This leads us to our next encounter, over on the planet of the Kais. Trunks senses that Goten has done it. As he expected, Goten was able to safely defeat his opponent, and next is his turn as he awaits Kibito Kai's arrival with the next Shadow Dragon. Thanks to Goten, the Z Fighters have recovered and purified the first Dragon Ball, but with 6 more dragons remaining, each of unspecified strength and unknown abilities, will they be able to defeat them all, one-on-one? That's gonna do it for Chapter 7 of Dragon Ball AF, ladies and gentlemen, the story of Goten. As always, if you guys have been enjoying Dragon Ball AF, please leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel for more Dragon Ball and comic content. Also, in the last video, I think I made a mistake and said Chapter 5 when it was actually Chapter 6. So I'm just saying that so you guys don't think I skipped a chapter or anything like that. Chapter 4 just had like a weird mid-Chapter 4.5 type of thing going on that I added to the Chapter 5 video. So just to clear up any confusion for anybody trying to watch these in order. But anyways, fellas, have a great day. And I will see you all in the next one. Peace out, my boys.